Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to bring you a review of the Klaus v Reinharz from Blockade Battlefront, also known as Kekai Sensen. So, let's get started. Uh, this figure is featured from Kekai Sensen. It's from Klaus. He's the first in the line so far. I'm hoping we also get Zap, and I know Leonardo's also on pre-order now, so he'll be coming out later. But I'm a big fan of this anime, and I wanted to get the Klaus. I was hoping he would have came with more blood effects, but he does not, and we'll get into that in a second. But let's go over the figure itself. Real quick, Klaus's head articulation is not really limited. It just looks a little funny. I think mine's just a little loose, but it's nothing that I can't, work around. So the head can actually has a full range of rotation. As you can see, it can rotate all the way around. And is on a Figma ball joint that is single jointed, but it can rotate in any which way. He has a slightly different design. His ball joint's a little smaller to match his design. So you got to be a little careful with that. The neck is actually really short as well. So you got to be careful along the lines of that. Now, Figma normally doesn't do figures like this guy. I know their suited figures are actually pretty dope most of the time, but he's done a little differently, especially in the arms. So as you can see, the articulation is a little different. It rotates out. And it kind of leaves some room to do whatever else you want. That being said, it does give you bicep swivel, which is pretty cool and new. It's on a single joint, but it's folded to the point where it can have the range of a double joint, and you can actually get him into boxing poses because it has a fold-in butterfly joint that you can't see. So you can see here, you can actually get a nice bit of posing here out of Klaus. See, straight up. The upper torso articulation is different as well. As you can see here, it's broken up into two sections. So you have the upper and the lower torso. So as you can see here, rotate all the way around, rotate around and through. So you actually get a ton of range in the midsection as well for the head and the upper torso. The legs, there is no pull down technique. As you can see, it is what it is. It's going to be on a T-joint. But Klaus has so much range that you'll actually see that he can rotate and twist with no problem. So getting Klaus into crazy action poses should not be an issue for you. As far as the ankle pivot, it has a great pivot that rotates left and right. There's a toe pivot as well. The leg is single jointed, but again, they've designed it in a way where it's kind of like it's double jointed, but it's not. So it's a little weird. So see if Klaus can kick and balance. So Klaus actually has the moves. He definitely has the moves, but the balance is a whole different story. I'm pretty sure I can make it happen some way, somehow. Probably not on camera, though. Let's see, though. Oh, I can hold it for a second, but he can't really hold the balance. So real quick, let's get Klaus into a cool pose. Maybe a blocking stance. Yeah, let's do a blocking stance. Let's go over accessories for Klaus. Klaus actually comes with a total of 3 faces. You get one that you get the stock face for. You actually get another face. You actually get another face that pretty much is going to see him looking sideways. And just like on Klaus's whole design, what it is that they kind of put a shadow where his hair would be. So it goes a little further over the face. But it's really, really nice. It's a simple anime sculpt. It's not something where, I know a lot of people aim for realism. But with this, you can actually aim for the more anime look, and it'll be just fine. Then we have the next face, which is pretty simple. This face is just a Klaus with glasses on, kind of reflecting light, which reflects the whole mood of any anime when you kind of have that, I don't know what it's called, but basically kind of staring down at you, grimly, I don't know what it's called, but yeah. Also, one quick thing I want to point out is accessories for Klaus. So, these other accessories being that Klaus can swap the forearm on his arm. So what you're going to do is you're going to just wiggle this out. And there is an arm for when he activates his blood techniques. So when you swap this arm in, basically you also are swapping out the hands. And I'm going to go over that right now. So as you can see, looks like a tear in his shirt because he pulls it down for the gauntlet. Most of the time we only ever see one gauntlet, but I'm pretty sure Klaus has 2. But these are the hands that come with Klaus. You have open palms for expression. You have hands for holding things. You have his gloved hand, which is his action hand. There are 2 crosses on the 2 index and ring finger. on each one of the gloved hands. There's also a gloved hand for holding items like his phone and things like that. And then there's the closed fist hand for action, like punching things or action, activating his blood techniques. Then you also get the opposite hand for holding his cross on his left hand. This also activates all of his blood techniques. Pretty bummed he didn't come with any blood effects, but I'm going to use the blood effect from his Revoltech, the mini Revoltech that he came with, to activate the blood cross. And last but not least, you get a tiny phone for Klaus, when you want to make those phone calls, important times. It's actually a big part of the anime when people call each other, so it's kind of cool that they included that. So I'm going to swap this arm back in, and now I'm going to do a quick size comparison of Klaus next to some other lines, so you guys can get a brief look at what he looks like next to other lines. I'm just going to go by what's in front of me, so I may be forgetting some stuff, but you can kind of put the rest together. So let's raise this up a bit. So here's Klaus on his own. There we go. This is Klaus on his own. This is Klaus next to Kamen Rider Ibuki. So next to an SHF, Klaus is actually a bit bigger. Here's Klaus next to a synthetic human, which you'll probably see a lot of. Shout out to Jessa Jive, who is buying just as many synthetic humans as I am. So yeah, that's what he looks like next to these two. Next up, we have him next to a Mezco, Captain America. So as you can see, Klaus is a lot smaller, but for Figma standards, he's actually at a pretty decent height, because most of the time, most Figmas are pretty much smaller than even the SHF stuff. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Iron Fist, who has some conversion pants from CJ. And this scale, I think he scales pretty decently with Marvel Legends, considering he's about the same. He's about the same shoulder height as Iron Fist, just standing up. But he's not taller, but he's in the same range, so I like that a lot. Then we're gonna compare him to an SHF Marvel figure for those of you who want to see the scale with a Marvel figure. Here he is next to Cap. And Cap's a bit taller / smaller, smaller, depending on it, because my head is a little bit higher. It's not sitting completely on the peg. But again, a decent enough scale so that it works well with perspective or fighting pose. And last but not least, here he is next to a Storm Collectibles, and they are massive compared to Klaus. Even standing next to him, if I move him back, he's much bigger. So they'll look good for against the odd shot and things like that. All in all, I'm liking Klaus. There are things I would have liked that'd be a bit better. That being said, I would have enjoyed more effects, especially considering that it's one of his gimmicks, especially in show. And I would have liked more expressions, but beggars can't be choosers, right? In the meantime, no, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it informative. Most of all, I hope you do good, be good, drink your water, guys. Later.